Chapter 2. Irene. Dublin, present day. I have to escape. My watch stopped at 9:15 a.m. and I feared I was stuck in a time warp with 20 fidgeting 6-year-olds. The long morning, exacerbated by a fire drill and Layla's cat being run over before school, had tested my patience. Any questions, class? The lovable munchkins, restless for lunch, need their sugar fix.
Is Chairman Meow in heaven, miss?
Layla asked. I nodded, smiled, and glanced at the clock while trying to block the memory of Jason, last night's yelling, tears, and anger from my mind. Like Layla's cat, it was all over with no possibility of going back. Layla's lips curled and she stared out of the window. Feeling her sadness, I struggled to bury my own broken heart. Ryan Flynn shoved his hand in the air.
My mum says God made the sea and the earth and everything. Is that true, Miss McGuire?
Many religions claim God made everything, Ryan. I remind myself that 2B were too young to be subversive, yet I sensed a tricky question.
Please, miss, if God makes all the dogs and cats and cows and people, where does he get all the meat? And, miss, you know the trees. Where does the wood come from?
Ideas, anyone? Could I stall until the lunch bell? Tiffany O'Leary, class know-it-all, pistoned her hand.
Miss.
Go on, Tiffany.
eBay, miss. My dad's a builder and he gets everything off the internet. It's cheaper, but delivery can be extortionate.
She nodded emphatically, then frowned.
What does extortionate mean, miss?
There was a knock on the classroom door, and Secretary Mrs. Cut-Above O'Kelly entered. All eyes fixed on the grey M&S suit, white tailored blouse and heavy gold jewellery. My pupils chanted, "Good morning, Mrs. O'Kelly," and I was proud. "Good morning, class. Sit down. Put your hands on your heads, and no talking." She turned, glanced disapprovingly over at my latest outfit, a retro dress of Laura Ashley fabric with puff sleeves and a dirndl skirt. The creation had pleased me immensely, but, under her glare, my clothes felt shabby and homemade. She seemed to sense my disappointment, and her brittleness softened. "Sorry to interrupt." She swallowed, squinted around the room, then returned her attention to me. "Reverend Mother wants to see you. I'll stand in for 10 minutes. My end-of-term reports were almost finished. It had been a difficult week, and I had spent too many evenings crying, sewing, to take my mind off things, avoiding anything to do with school, including fellow teacher Jason. I faced the children. "I want to hear good things when I come back, class. Don't let me down. Ryan, you can ask your question to Mrs. O'Kelly." In the corridor, I reached for the office door handle, my nerves tingling like static. After a calming breath, I entered Reverend Mother's office. Mother Superior looked up from her desk. "Take a seat, Irene." Her eyes were also restless. Then they settled on me, and she sighed. "I'm sorry, Irene. It's bad news." I'm going to lose my job? Redundancy? Perhaps this was the push I needed to break away from the school. The truth is, I never really wanted to be a teacher. I loved the children, but longed for a greater challenge. As if reading my mind, she shook her head and said, "It's about your family." "Oh, not my father. But the doctor said it was just the flu. He was improving." I hadn't seen Dad for a couple of days. "No, they haven't told Mr. McGuire yet. The home received a call from Greece yesterday, and Matron telephoned me this morning. They couldn't get hold of you." My phone's turned off. My fiancé, we broke up." I went to twist my engagement ring, but it was not on my finger. She glanced at my hands, which I separated, quickly pressing the palms against my knees. "I see," she said. "Sorry to hear it, Irene. Matron thinks you should break the news to your father. You see, it's about your mother, God save her soul." She stared at the desktop while the comment sank in. My mother, God save her soul. Oh! Reverend Mother was talking. Words seemed to float between us, and I could not catch what was being said.